these guys blasting at these kids. So that's what everybody wants to know. I know you put it up recently, the who's next, but it feels like the dominoes, right? We're getting one every couple of weeks now. So Aaron Childs released a top 3 recently, but what are the kind of guys we're looking up next on the horizon to get into this class?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of scenarios of Michigan picking up guys. I mean, there's really nothing, I guess, on the horizon in terms of immediate, guys coming up with commitments. But again, recruiting is just so fickle that it could change in a heartbeat. So I mean, I guess at this point, you can kind of just list the guys that are most likely to commit. I mean, Aaron Childs, you mentioned. I think Michigan is in a really good spot for Childs. I really like Michigan's chances once they come out of the official visit. I know he has one scheduled to Michigan in June, and obviously Maryland and Florida will get their shots. But I think Michigan will wrap that one up pretty quickly once he gets on campus. And to kind of preface everything else I'm going to say, I think a lot more of the action for Michigan is going to start resuming again in June. Jeremiah Beasley, in-state linebacker, is committing at the end of June, and I'm expecting Michigan to be the choice there. Again, expecting Childs to possibly drop in June. So, I think it's good that Michigan is secured a bunch of really good offensive talent, but I think now it's time that they start getting some momentum on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they have really good guys committed, like Mason Curtis and Jacob Oden at the top of my head. And someone else that could join too, Jacob Smith.
Jared's the highest rated defensive recruit right now, but his twin brother is even better. So it's quite a tandem right there.
Yeah, and when you look at twins from a historical lens, you don't really see them splitting up. I mean, you see brothers splitting up where there may be an age gap. That's happened before. But you don't really see twin brothers splitting up and going to different schools. I mean, obviously you can talk about the Green twins in Michigan and Jamon and Jermon, and also the Adamalola twins from Notre Dame as well, who both played on the defensive line. So from a historical standpoint, I mean, and Jacob said all the right things, that he wants to take his time, that he's not necessarily, locked in on following with his brother anywhere. And Jared said the same thing. He's not going to force his brother to join him or, force his hand. But again, when you look at it from, just not even just from the historical viewpoint, from something that just makes sense. I'm expecting, I haven't officially put in a prediction yet because I'm still kind of waiting to hear a couple more things before I do so. But I'm heavily leaning towards putting a prediction in for Michigan for the Smith twins, basically, to come in. I mean, there's guys that are out there for Michigan and guys that Michigan sit in a really good spot for right now. But, to say like who's next, I can't really say definitively because, again, these commitments come in the blink of the eye, and a couple of them are set for next month. So I don't know if May is going to be the big major fireworks month for the football program. But, I mean, obviously you started off with Channing Goodwin, which is always a good thing. So, there's a possibility. Can't ever rule it out. But I'm leaning towards June for the next kind of big crop of guys that come off the board.
I think I've got 2 things I want to hammer on, and I'm going to come back to the last point in a second. But obviously then who's next, we've named a few, right? But like if you start going through your head and thinking about folks that either are heavy leans or you think Michigan's in a good position for or whatever, and you look at this class and you're like, oh, they're 16. How big can this class get?
Yeah.
Like I think Michigan's expecting a pretty mass exodus after this year, right? Like they're being pretty open about they want to go break the NFL draft record. Like that's how many dudes they think are, whether literally have exhausted eligibility or juniors that could potentially leave early. They're expecting maybe a little room. And without getting into the scholarship situation, they're going to take dudes that they want, figure it out later kind of thing. Right. Yep. But I mean, are they going to get up to 30 dudes in this class? Like it kind of looks like it could get that big. Like we've talked about some big names where it's like first come, first serve spot, but it's like, are they really going to turn away a certain high 4-star player?
Yeah.
they're not, right? So I don't know. Do you think it could get that big? Because you start talking about the linebackers they're looking at, a couple corners, wide receivers. There's still a few guys that got to drop. It's like, dude, this class could get huge.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think, excuse me, and I think in this common age of the transfer portal and everything else, I think these heavy classes of a lot of guys kind of make sense because
It's
you
the
never
future.
really
That's a
know.
good point.
But at the same time, you can also make the argument that you can go less too, because now Michigan has shown that they can recruit the portal with not necessarily grad transfer guys.
Right.
So you can go a little less. Say, you have room for 30 guys. You can take 25, 24, 25 guys and then earmark those 5 to 6 or whatever, how many scholarship spots you have open for the portal. And kind of boost your roster that way. So yeah, I mean, this class could certainly get to 30 guys, but would they want to get there considering that they can, effectively recruit the portal now? I don't really know, but